This is 1 hour of useless COD Zombies information. In case this is your first time watching my channel, over the past year, I have been releasing videos going over useless COD Zombies information, and this video is a compilation of those. If you enjoy this video, let me know by dropping a like, subscribing if you're new, and click the bell icon to get all notifications for future useless information videos. And with all that being said, enjoy the useless information. In Black Ops 2 Origins, you can prone in front of the Pack-a-Punch machine and get a free 25 points. This is the only Pack-a-Punch machine that does this. The ballistic knife doesn't hurt Leroy. The Draken is not available in the Zombies Chronicles remaster of Nocturne and Toten. The mannequins' heads on Alpha Omega will turn to look at you no matter where you are, so this ends up making some really creepy looking mannequins in the map. On Tagged or Toten, you can buy the shield through the floor. In the Zombies Chronicles remaster for Verrückt, if you shoot the fountain with the Wunderwaffe, it will vomit blood. Dr. Maxis has a peanut allergy in some universes. Speaking of Maxis, although a different one, in the D Machina intro cinematic, Samantha Maxis goes in a phone booth to call Weaver, and the number she calls is 62947. Or Maxis on a keypad. This sign on Firebase Z isn't attached to anything. There's also a sign on Buried that again isn't attached to anything. George Romero has 250,000 health per player that's in the game from the start. This means that if you load in with 4 players, George Romero will have 1 million health. The Pack-a-Punch machine on Blood of the Dead can be seen teleporting from the Golden Gate Bridge to the roof. Water War Zombies had character bios to help people get to know the Ultimate's crew just a little bit better. No one thought this at the time, but there was a pretty big Easter egg in here that would have spoiled the end of Black Ops 1 Zombies. If you take the first letter in each sentence, you will get the message, "The Doctor wants the ultimate power bastard." There was supposed to be an XR2 walleye on the Giant. We know this because Mark Lamia ended up doing some sort of press conference or meeting or something like that and revealed this image of the XR2 walleye, seemingly where the KRM walleye is on the Giant. Now, in my opinion, this would have been really cool, as the XR2 was a lot of fun to use in the multiplayer, and I feel like it would have worked like the ABR from BO4 Zombies does. In Tagged or Toten, there's a wall that you can crouch out of to bypass a door and spawn. You will hit a death barrier if this door is closed though. You can mantle on this ledge in specific on Mob of the Dead. In Shadows of Evil, for some reason, if you knife a tram in a certain spot, you will get a hit marker for it. In the gameplay trailer for Revelation, you can see the rocket shield from Shadows of Evil and Der Eisendrache being used in the map. However, in the final version of the map, the only shield that's available is the Dragon Shield from Gerard Crovey. Voyage of Despair is the only Zombies map to have 2 Bowie knife locations. Additionally, Voyage is also the only map to have a Bowie knife upgrade. In Shadows of Evil, there's a brick that will raise into the air when you interact with it. This brick reveals a cipher. In the earlier Zombies games, a map's game over music used to hint at the next map that would release. For example, here's the game over song for Kino. Chino Numa. And my personal favorite, Die Rise. Catalyst and Blightfathers do not show up in theater mode. Buried is the only map pre-BO4 that allows you to get both the Ray Gun Mark 1 and 2 at the same time. You need a fire sale to do this, but honestly, it's worth it. If you type the word joke into Rushmore, he will tell you some pretty funny jokes. Vanguard Zombies connected the Dark Ether storyline to the Chaos story from BO4. There's another reason to hate this game. From its conception in Black Ops 2 Zombies until they removed it, there has been 16 Zombies maps in total to have a Zombies shield, those being Transit, Mob of the Dead, Origins, all of Black Ops 3 minus the Giant, and all of Black Ops 4 Zombies. That means that Die Rise, Buried, and the Giant are the only Zombies maps from Black Ops 2 to Black Ops 4 to not have a zombie shield. When Black Ops 3 launched, the Gobblegum machine was only available at 1 machine at a time, and it would randomly move at the beginning of a round or when you bought a Gobblegum. Furthermore, to get a Gobblegum, you had to spend 500 points for your first hit of the round. Thankfully, Treyarch got rid of both of these because, honestly, these changes are what made Gobblegum so much fun to use. In the Legion boss fight for Cold War Zombies, the announcer will say that there is 9 minutes until the missile launch. But if you look at the timer on the screen, you actually have 10 minutes until the missile launches. This is because it was 9 minutes on release, but they changed it to 10 minutes to make it easier for people to beat it, and I guess they just forgot to change the voice line. When doing the second puzzle for the fire staff upgrade, the first number will always either be 5 or 11, and the final number will always be 4. You can throw a grenade at this globe in the church on the Horizon track to start the disco Easter egg. If you listen closely, you'll hear that this is the same exact song used for the coffin dance Easter egg on D Machina. On Blood of the Dead, if you crouch in this spot, you can see both the stairs and the ground disappear, and you can see all the way down to the water. On Origins, if you're in Zombie Blood in the Crazy Place, the game will actually give you some hints for the Easter egg. In the Shadows of Evil trailer, you can see the VMP on the wall in the Footlight District, but in the final release of the map, it is the Vesper. Forsaken's ending cutscene has some pretty cute Easter eggs in it. When the crew is being arrested, you can hear the song We'll Meet Again playing in the background. This shows that the operators will meet the director again, but it's also the Treyarch devs telling us that we will meet again. A la, we are not canceling this story or this game mode. We will meet again in COD 2024. Additionally, at the end of the cutscene, it plays a different song. When Peck goes to rent a boat, you can actually hear the song Richtofen Again from Blood of the Dead soundtrack playing in the background. This one is pretty self-explanatory, but it's a pretty cool Easter egg nonetheless. In the OG Ether storyline, Samantha Maxis is German in Black Ops 1, American in Black Ops 2, and then German again in Black Ops 4. For 2 weeks in March 2019, Treyarch added an Easter egg that allowed you to get a free Leprechaun-themed homunculus. Both the ice trap and the tundra gun can make the napalm zombies drop dynamite parts on Tag or Toten. In the Chaos Story trailer for Black Ops 4, Bruno can be seen using Molotovs and the 205 Brecci, neither of which are available in BO4 Zombies. The Tigers on 9 can still one-hit you. Kevin Sherwood originally made the song that plays in the Hit Your Mark step on Ancient Evil when he first started making music all the way back in 1998. Here's exactly what he has to say if you want more information about this. In the First Strike poster for BO1 Zombies, there is a bald man who we didn't know who he was for the longest time, but it turns out that that bald man is none other than Gersh. Every Black Ops 3 map outside of Zombies Chronicles has the Origins loading music when you're loading into the map. Now this wasn't always the case. This was a glitch that was introduced whenever Zombies Chronicles came out, and they just never fixed it. In Shadows of Evil, it is possible to open Pack-a-Punch while never opening the spawn door. You cannot finish Easter eggs that require you to interact with something while in Idolize. This is why Idolize is a great gobblegum for Garad Crovey, but a bad gobblegum for a map like Revelations. The highest round ever achieved at the time of me recording this is round 11,482, once again by Krups. For some reason on Black Ops 3, the diamond camo on certain guns will flicker. Now it almost resembles Morse code, but it was confirmed by data miners and people that know Morse code in general that this is not Morse code and it is just random flickering. If you like COD Zombies, then chances are you've heard of the ADFGX cipher on Mob of the Dead. Well, that cipher was solved and it's pretty crazy what we found out. This message translates to, urgent, the giant is in France. But what makes this even crazier is, someone by the name of Ben Down, and yes, I know his name is funny, uploaded a YouTube video 2 weeks before Mob of the Dead even came out, saying this.
The race is in France. Or more specifically, the giant is in France. Literally. This video is for the future. Goodbye.
Now, this is mind-blowing, if I'm being honest, and as far as I can tell, he has never officially worked for Treyarch before, so I don't know how he knew this. There are 2 Zombies maps where the base Wonder Weapon is better than any of the elemental upgrades for it, those being the D-Shockwave on D Machina and the Cerberus on Mauer der Toten. On Ascension, Takio says that he has a Facebook page.
Damn, I keep forgetting to update my Facebook page.
On BO4 Zombies, you can switch your weapons just by spamming your shield button. Kino der Toten was supposed to be in World at War, but they scrapped it to finish it and release it on Black Ops 1. Below the map in Shadows of Evil, you can find the parts for 2 different Apothicon servants. In the church on Horizon, there is a newspaper on the table that says there is a huge parade in London. If you get the upgraded plunger and kill 5 zombies with the upgraded plunger next to the newspaper, the headline will actually change to Reports of the Zombie Attack in London, Officials Not Confirming. If you get another 5 or so upgraded plunger kills in front of this newspaper, the headline will change one final time to Zombie Attack in the Heart of London. This is implying that we were actually sending the zombies from Der Eisendrache to London with our plunger. That's a really cool Easter egg that nobody talks about. When Pack-a-Punching as Richtofen on Blood of the Dead, you can see what is the funniest typo in subtitles history. When the nukes go off in the Alpha Omega boss fight, they don't actually go off in the map. In Taggart Toten, you can use Ethereal Razor on the Sealed Duality after the boss fight to send the orb effect on it flying somewhere in the map. Since this was the first DLC perk, and it seemingly was the first step of a new Easter egg, everyone thought that this was for the super Easter egg for Black Ops 4 Zombies, but no, this was instead just a glitch. There are 2 out-of-the-map monsters in COD Zombies. The first one is on Zetsubo no Shima, which you can see from Lab B once you get to round 50. And the second one is on D Machine. If you go into Dark Ether after round 40, you can see the order outside of the map near Quick Revive. And finally, at the end of the Call of the Dead intro, Michael Rooker shoots 5 shots out of a double-barrel shotgun. Don't know how that's possible, but he did it. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you drop a like. If we get 5,000 likes on this video, I will give you all another hour of useless COD Zombies information. So if you want that, click that like button. In Shadows of Evil, you can find the map layout for Origins near the Rift Portal in the Waterfront District. On Revelations, if you cook a nade while you're traveling with a launch pad, you will take no damage from it. In the spawn room in Blood of the Dead, you can interact with a Walmart. You could interact with a walnut to teleport it. On Mob of the Dead, if you crawl into a prisoner's body, you'll see a smiley face. The ray gun in Black Ops 3 has no walking animation. In Zombies in Spaceland, there's an Easter egg that gives all the zombies in the map astronaut helmets. The only problem with this is, this Easter egg only activates on round 6001. Which is obviously impossible to achieve in the normal game of Zombies. In the Zombies Chronicles remaster of Ascension, you can see the Shadow Man in a window outside of Pack-a-Punch. In Taggart Toten, you can do an underhand throw with the snowballs if you're holding your shield out. The Gobblegums in Black Ops 3 Zombies are actually categorized by color. Every single blue Gobblegum in the game is round based, so for example it only lasts for like 3, 4, 5 rounds. The green Gobblegums are time based. The orange Gobblegums activate immediately or automatically under certain circumstances, like going down with self-medication. And the purple Gobblegums are player activated. These are most of the power-up Gobblegums, crawl space, killing time, and so on. Speaking of which, there are multiple Gobblegums in this game that have guns on them that are unobtainable in the game. For example, you can see the AK-47 on Disorderly Combat and the Spaz-12 on Respin Cycle. In Firebase Z, they want you to think that the bunny Easter egg takes place outside, but you can actually shoot the ceiling with your gun. In most zombie games, you can get 2 of the same weapon by putting the first one in the Pack-a-Punch machine, grabbing the second one off the wall or from the box, and then pick back up the one from the Pack-a-Punch before it disappears. The MTAR is not on Origins, and that is because when you Pack-a-Punch it, it comes with a noob tube on the D-pad. The problem here is that the revive ability on the upgraded staffs uses the same button, so if you had both the MTAR and an upgraded staff in your game, one of them wouldn't work. On Blood of the Dead, if you shoot the hands that poke out of the catwalk, you will get a free 10 points. Additionally, if you throw the Hell's Retriever at the Warden before the boss fight, you will get 10 points for that as well. In Taggart Toten's outro cutscene, you can hear Nikolai say this.
Monty told us the truth. Our journey is the very reason this madness exists.
The only problem with this is, since we broke the cycle after Zetsubo, Garad Grovey and Revelations never happened. So no, Nikolai, Monty didn't tell us anything. A lot of people don't know this, but you can actually stop certain power-ups from spawning in the map. For example, fire sales will never spawn in your game until you move the mystery box for the first time. Another cool one is, at least on solo for BO3, death machines will never spawn as long as you don't have the power on or buy Quick Revive. Now, the only map that this is really helpful on is Shadows of Evil, since there's no main power switch like there is on maps like Der Eisendrache and Garad Grovey. You've been doing the Der Eisendrache Easter egg wrong this entire time. When you teleport back in time for the second time to grab the Keeper Stone, you don't interact with the Canorium to open the crate. Instead, you're placing in the key card that you picked up in the safe after the first time you went back in time. Fire sales stack on Mob of the Dead. On Dead of the Night, there is an Easter egg step where you have to become a ghost. The sound effect used for this ghost is the same one used for Afterlife in Mob of the Dead. After all this time, we finally know that Ether and Chaos are indeed connected. In the Pack-a-Punch room for 5, you can see a magazine on this chair. The cover image for this magazine is a picture of Ascension, the next Zombies map to release. In Origins, there is a poster that you can shoot down that'll reveal a cipher. The trees on Dead of the Night look laughably bad, or at least so we think, because here's the weird thing about these trees. When you aim at said trees, they'll begin to glow and they'll stay glowing until you stop aiming at them. Now if you ask me, this almost has to be an Easter egg of some kind. But as far as I can tell, we found no Easter eggs involving these trees. So if you know why these trees do this, please leave a comment down below because I really want to know why this happens. There was an Easter egg on Horizon Drac that was just found in 2023. When you start a game of COD Zombies, there is a timer going on in the background. Well, if you look at this exact spot when you hit the 1 minute mark in your game, you'll spawn an orb that'll fly around the map. This orb is actually Dempsey 1.0, and we know this because when you start doing the Samantha Says step, this orb will disappear. In Blood of the Dead, there are multiple different small side quests you can do to reveal a bunch of the Weasel's drawings around the map. These quests can range from meleeing a box with Electric Cherry to using most of the specialists on random items around the map. These drawings look really cool, and I wish that they had more use in the map besides just existing. In Mob of the Dead, there is a pretty cool weapon that's hidden in the game files. The weapon is none other than Rick Toffin's head. This is very weird and very random, and I really wish that this was in the actual map. Back when BO4 first launched, when you opened a door or ended the round, similar to how it does on Black Ops 3, it would display on the screen you earning XP for it. This was taken out the game shortly after launch, and I don't know why. In the Blackout beta, you could fight the Blightfather in the map. This means that Blackout players got to fight the new zombie boss before Zombies players did. Do you know what this weapon is in Revelations? If you said the Vesper, you would be correct. Now, do you know what this weapon is on Revelations? If you said the Vesper, you would be wrong. This is in fact the HVK-30. For some weird reason, the HVK wall buy on this map has the Vesper's chalk outline. In Black Ops 3, there is a lot of places that you can jump onto and you'll be able to see your character's body. My favorite time to do this is jumping on the hatch in Garage Curvy while I'm doing the egg lockdown. Contrary to popular belief, Black Ops 4 Zombies actually does have perk jingles. Well, kind of. They're not perk jingles per se, they're more medicine commercials than anything.
Makes your hair full and thick.
Say, that's quite a trick.
Makes you muscled and strong.
More right than wrong.
Your math scores will soar.
Brains
It'll
galore.
straighten your tie.
My, oh my.
Will improve your IQ.
Better than 102?
You'll be a real man.
She's talking about me,
Be
man.
more popular at parties.
More unstupid smarties.
Clear up your pimples.
Those are dimples.
Wonder Fizz is more than a soda, but no one really knows what Wonder Fizz is.
Wonderful Wonder Fizz soda. Wonder Fizz may cause anal fissures, sexual side effects in men and women, may cause elephantitis of the uvula. Do not operate heavy machinery or consume pork or dairy products immediately after consuming Wonder Fizz. And if you're over 50, please consult your physician before enjoying the wonderful Wonder Fizz family of sodas.
Wonder Fizz is more than a soda, but no one really knows what Wonder Fizz is.
You can see the M1911 in the mystery box on Mob of the Dead. You can't actually get it though. On my last useless information video, fellow YouTuber Lucario commented a bunch of useless facts about transit. Not even I knew like 90% of these, so to thank him, I'm gonna dedicate this next part of the video to Lucario. The jet gun has an ammo counter if you teleport while holding it out. The claymores can open the bank vault. EMPs will destroy both claymores and monkey bombs. The jet gun can pull drops toward the player. There can only be 2 denizens in the map at any given time. When you first pick up the zombie shield, you lock the car door for some reason. The turbine has such a big AoE that it can actually turn on the Pack-a-Punch machine from the 74U wall by above ground. You can see a nighttime skybox under the map. And finally, Stullinger is wearing a brand name of shoes. If you look at the bottom of his soles, you can see the brand name Skickers on them. Once again, thank you so much Lucario for commenting all that useless information about transit, and with that, let's get back to my useless information. The Seal of Duality on Tagger Toten is just a reskin of the Scepter of Ra's level 3 ability. The Galvanuckles cost 6,000 points on Black Ops 2, but they cost 5,000 points on Black Ops 4. Do you know where this sound is from? This audio is from when you interact with Richthofen's book in Shinonuma. With saying that though, they did reuse this exact same audio cue for when you interact with the Chronorium in the first Revelations boss fight. In the intro cutscene for Ancient Evil, Diego's mouth is off sync with what he's actually saying.
Know thyself. I hope you know what you're doing, Scarlet.
The punch card machine in Blood of the Dead can be seen in the intro cutscene for Revelations. Additionally, the Wolfbow paintings are there as well. In Mob of the Dead, if you AFK when you first spawn in, you will get a special game over screen. You can throw monkey bombs right before a cutscene to have them explode during the cutscene. You can see the Mob of the Dead plane in multiple zombie maps. On the Giant, you can see it on top of Teleporter C, and on Shadows of Evil, you can see it going over the main part of the map after unlocking Pack-a-Punch. I can't believe I'm including this in the video, and I'm not going to show it for obvious reasons, but in the Ancient Evil ending cutscene, Treyarch actually modeled Medusa's, yeah. Next one. There's a weird glitch that occurs on Blood of the Dead, where a zombie can get stuck behind a wall outside of the docks. In Black Ops 3, the Thunder Gun doesn't have an animation if you pull it out with no ammo in the clip. On Shadows of Evil, there is a sign that flashes AIM in Morse code. We all thought for the longest time this had something to do with an Easter egg, but as of June 2023, we still have yet to find anything. And finally, you can interact with the Beast Mode pedestal from farther away if you're crouching. In Origins, if two people stand on both sides of this pillar in the spawn room and shoot each other, you can do this insane jitter fire glitch. It'll jitter fire just about any gun in this map. Pistols work, shotguns work, and my favorite is doing this with the ray guns or the staffs. I feel like this was pretty well known back in the day, but not many people talk about it anymore, so if you remember this, you're an OG. In BO3 Moon, if you crouch here in Tunnel 11 and look behind the stairs, you'll see parts of the map will disappear. In most zombie games, you'll melee faster if the gun you're holding is out of ammo. In Blood of the Dead, if you spam your shield button while holding a gun with the gold camo on it, when you pull back out your gun, the gold will be really shiny. I actually quite like this. On Buried, you can fly your friends with the Paralyzer. In Water Ward, Nocturne, and Totem, the power-ups don't have a logo and instead just show a timer counting down. In Water War and BO1 Zombies, the dogs have a special attack animation if you are prone. For some reason, Treyarch removed this attack with Black Ops 2, and we have yet to see it return. But speaking of dogs, although a completely different one, if you use Turned on a Plague Hound in Cold War Zombies, you can walk up to the dog and pet him. Speaking of the Plague Hounds, when Cold War Zombies first launched, they had a pretty annoying bug where they could change their lunge trajectory mid-attack. So for example, they could lunge around a corner and hit you. This was a really annoying bug, and to make it even worse, this was in the game for pretty much Cold War's entire life cycle, because they didn't patch this bug out until the time Forsaken released, a full year later. That's insane. How did this go a full year without being Oh, yeah, that's right. Verrückt, Carrier from Exo-Zombies, and Dead of the Night from BO4 are the only zombie maps to have two different spawn rooms. Speaking of Verrückt, in Black Ops 3 Verrückt, you can use Anywhere But Here to teleport to the other spawn room. In the game files for Die Rise, Who's Who is called Chugabud. Getting revived with near-death experience will rearrange your perk order. On Origins, you can get the G-Strike grenades by using PhD Flopper if you pull your shield out right before you hit the ground. Now I guess technically this could be helpful, but why do this when you could just do the same thing with your staff? When Kino der Toten first came out, you could originally reload the Thunder Gun whenever you wanted to. Obviously nowadays, you can't reload it unless it's out of ammo in its clip. On the back of BO2's disc cover art, the transit bus is facing the opposite direction from the way it should be. In Shadows of Evil, if you exit beast mode while holding the meat wagons, you'll get this weird spark on your gun. This spark is the zap effect from the beast mode. I don't know why this happens. As far as I know, it only happens with the meat wagons, but if you know of any other guns that do this, let me know in the comments. On the Beast from Beyond, any zombies that walk past this lamp in the theater will reveal their body paint. It's a cool little detail. When you prone under perks in Doris, you will get a free 25 points. This is the only map to have this all the way until Origins came out in Black Ops 2. Since Origins, it's been in every single Zombies game, but with that being said, there are 4 perk machines in BO3 that you cannot prone in front of to get free points. 3 of those perks being Mule Kick on Zetsubo, Mule Kick on Shangri-La, and the perk that spawns in the Power Room on Shang as well. Now you can't prone to get points on any of these because they are all in water, and you can't prone in water for some reason. The fourth perk that you cannot prone under to get free points is the second perk that spawns in Area 51 on Chronicles Moon. So you can prone in front of Speed Cola at the beginning of the game, but when you go back and it's Jug, you won't get points for it. As many people know, Ultimate Dempsey breaks the fourth wall a lot in COD Zombies. But on Alpha Omega, there's actually another character who breaks the fourth wall.
You answered the call of duty, wink wink, and you paid the price!
On the Wii version of Kino der Toten, there was an AUG wall by in front of the turret. I really wish this was in other versions of BO1 because the AUG is one of my favorite guns to use in BO1, and if it was more available, I feel like I'd play this game more. The Ragnarok DG4s on Der Eisendrache last twice as long on last gen than they do on current gen. Give it up for last gen Der Eisendrache, everybody. When Ancient Evil first came out, you could originally place the Pegasus strike while you were moving. But for some reason a couple months after release they changed it to where you have to stand still when you're placing it. On the Darkest Shores Easter egg, there is a step where you have to escort a boss around the map to grab different perks. Well, when you first start the step, he will slowly walk around the map. But after you grab stamina up, he will jog around the map. You gotta love little details like this, even if it's on the abomination of a map that is the Darkest Shore. Alright, I got a crazy Easter egg that I guarantee nobody watching this video knows. Did you know about the purple meatballs and purple keeper Easter egg on Shadows of Evil? These are secret enemies that you will only see after doing a very specific couple of things. First off, when unlocking Pack-a-Punch, you have to place the gate worms down in the order from the left one first and then place the rest counterclockwise from there. After you unlock Pack-a-Punch, you need to do the rest of the Easter egg up until the Shadow Man boss fight. You again have to interact with the gate worms in the same order that you did when unlocking Pack-a-Punch, and after you do that and fail to trap the Shadow Man a time or two, purple meatballs and purple keepers will start spawning. I have no clue why these are even a thing, let alone why they have such a specific trigger. So if you have any theories as to why these are in the game, or even if you flat out know, leave a comment down below. When BO3 Zombies launched, some things looked a little bit different. When BO3 launched, originally the shield icon looked like this, but when Der Eisendrache came out, they changed it to have a health bar and look like this. Additionally, the Annihilator on the Giant used to be orange on the HUD, but was later changed to this lightish blue color. And finally, the Raygun's tube was white on release, but they later changed it to how it looks today. Speaking of the Raygun, the tube is normally blue on Black Ops 2, but in Buried and Origins, it's green. On Tag der Toten, you can use the level 2 sword to jump this cliff, and you can also use it to dash up the ice slide. Before Zombies Chronicles even released, the Zombies YouTubers were flown out to Treyarch to get early footage for it.
Oh god, no, you're not supposed to see that. You were not supposed to see that. Why did that just happen?
One of the YouTubers flown out was Codename Pizza, who at that time was doing a myth-busting series. When he was flown to Treyarch to get early Chronicles footage, he used this as a time to record early myth-busting episodes for every single Chronicles map. Well, during this, Pizza found out it was possible to stop the rockets from blowing up the Earth on Moon. Now this is pretty cool, but I have an even crazier clip to show you. He also found out that you could actually freeze the robots on Origins. This looks absolutely insane just seeing the robots stand above you, but the reason I keep talking in past tense here is because Treyarch hated Codename Pizza and Killing Time because when they saw him do this at Treyarch, they made sure to patch both of these out before releasing Zombie Chronicles. So this footage that you're seeing right here is the only footage of this that exists. You know, when you look at it, it kind of makes sense why they didn't bring back Killing Time in BO4. If you enter Garrosh Krovi's boss fight without quick revive, Nikolai will instantly kill you. Even before the dragon spawns, which he shouldn't be able to do normally, he will still just insta-kill you. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you drop a like. 1,000 likes and I'll make another useless information video. Also, while I got you here, I released a video beating the Voyage of Despair Easter egg with a one-hit down. And with Modern Warfare 3 releasing, I feel like it got a little lost in the YouTube algorithm, so I'll put a card on the screen right now and a link at the end of the video so you can go watch it. It's a really good video, so even if you don't like Voyage, you'll still be entertained by it, so go watch it. Alright. Back to the video. On Alpha Omega, you can't enter codes into Rushmore while he's talking. On Blood of the Dead, if you try to buy the gondola with no points, your character will start talking and you won't stop saying gondola quotes until you either get a kill or step off the gondola.
At last, a moment alone to think. Imprisoned against mine will. Betrayed by mine alternate self. The chronorium. The blood. Bad idea. Existential dread. Don't shake the gondola! Are you insane? Oh, that's just me.
On BO2 Origins, the Iron Fist melee animation will override the staff melee, but on Black Ops 3, the opposite is true. In the BO3 multiplayer map Combine, you can find the zap guns from Moon in this house. It's really crazy looking back at it because Combine was a beta map for BO3, so Treyarch from before even BO3 came out were hinting at a Zombies Chronicles. There's another multiplayer map in BO3 with a Zombies Easter egg as well, as in the DLC 1 map Splash, you can find the Primus statues here. Really don't know why they're on this map, doesn't fit it at all, but whatever. There's also a few maps in BO4's multiplayer that have some really cool Easter eggs as well. So first off, there's a map called Remnant, which is basically a COD Zombies museum. In this map, you can find the bus from Transit, the dentist chair from Verrückt, the Titanic from Voyage, the MPD from Moon, the box from Shadows of Evil, along with a lot more cool Easter eggs. There's also some really cool Chaos lore in this map as well if you care about that. But my all-time favorite Zombies multiplayer map is Der Schatten. This map is based off the town on the ground, way out in the distance of Der Eisendrache. This is such a cool map that I highly recommend that you explore one day because there are a lot of cool Easter eggs in this map, including hearing Primus dialogue near the tram.
Richtofen, what'd you say to piss him off? Dempsey, pay attention! We need you alive! And shooting! Whatever may come next. At least we have made it this far.
And the actual castle from Der Eisendrache in the distance. A much less detailed version of the castle, but a castle nonetheless. A lot of people know how you can completely ruin everyone's game on Transit, but did you know you can also do the same on Beasts from Beyond? On this map, there is a side quest to unlock Double Pack-a-Punch. To do this quest, you have to grab a brute head and place it on the cardboard cutout. Well, it turns out that you can actually take this head wherever you want, and you can hide it from everyone else, completely ruining the match in the process. Craig Houston, the lead writer for COD Zombies, said that Alpha Omega had over 5,000 voice lines recorded for it.
When you take on an experience like Blood of the Dead, like Classified, you're generally talking about how many lines of script?
From 2,500 is probably an average. For Alpha Omega, it's actually about 5,500 lines. So when you've got Primus and Ultimus running around together in the same map, any combination of different foursomes, you know, it's fun to see how they react to each other and how they reconcile their various differences. So
on BO4 Zombies, the Chaos and Ether stories had separate Bowie knives. Here's the Ether one, and here's the Chaos one. There is a lot of really cool cut announcer lines in COD Zombies. So first off, on Mob of the Dead, there's cut announcer lines for every mobster except Al.
Carpenter, double points, insta-kill, max ammo, kaboom, fire sale.
Carpenter, double points, insta-kill, max ammo, kaboom, fire sale.
Carpenter, double points, insta-kill, max ammo, kaboom, fire sale.
And also, in Revelations, there's cut announcer lines for both the Shadow Man and Dr. Monty.
Carpenter, double points, insta-kill, kaboom, fire sale, minigun, bonus points.
Carpenter, double points, insta-kill, max ammo, fire sale, minigun, bonus points.
Last time I did a 15 minutes video, I went over every single Zombies map and gave you the translation in English for all of them, and you all really enjoyed that. So I thought I'd try something similar and tell you when every single perk in Zombies history was introduced. So first off, obviously, Juggernaut, Speed Cola, Quick Revive, and Double Tap 1 were all introduced in Verrückt. Keener der Toten introduced us to the new version of Quick Revive that allows you to revive yourself on solo. Ascension gave us 2 new perks, the first being Stamina, and the second being Call of the Dead brought us one of the best celebrity crews in Zombies history, as well as one of the worst perks in Zombies history, that being Deadshot Daiquiri. And contrary to what some BO1 fans will tell you, Mule Kick was not introduced in Kino. In fact, it was first added to Moon and was later added to every other Zombies map. Transit gave us Tombstone and Double Tap 2, no more of that Double Tap 1 garbage. Die Rise gave us Chuggabud, and Mob of the Dead gave us Electric Cherry. And real quick, fun fact about Electric Cherry, it's actually a play on words. If you phonetically remove the E, you will get Electric Chair, or Electric Chair, being a play on the electric chairs on the Golden Gate Bridge. And the final perk introduced in BO2 was on Buried, and that map introduced Vulture Aid. This perk needs to come back. I'm not talking about just certain parts of it or nothing, no. The whole perk needs to come back. The perk icon, the perk effects, the perk machine, the perk jingle, everything about it is just perfect. And that's a fitting transition for the next perk introduced, which is on Shadows of Evil, that being Widow's Wine. Now, even though this is one of my favorite perks in Zombies, it really sucks this is the only perk introduced in BO3. But Jason Blundell heard our complaints about this in BO3 and didn't leave us hanging in BO4 because Black Ops 4 launched with 17 new perks. On launch for BO4, we got Bandolier Bandit, Deadshot Dealer, being a rework of Deadshot Daiquiri, Death Perception, Dying Wish, Electric Burst, which, you guessed it, is a rework for Cherry, PhD Slider, Secret Sauce, Stone Cold Stronghold, Time Slip, Victorious Tortoise, and Winter's Wail. Whew, that was a lot. But that's not it for BO4, as with the DLC season, we got 4 more perks. Dead of the Night gave us Ethereal Razor, Ancient Evil released with Zombshell, the worst perk of all time was released with Alpha Omega, and Blaze Phase came with Tagged or Totem. And finally, in Cold War Zombies, they added Elemental Pop with D-Machine, and the new Tombstone Soda with Firebase Z. They added the new Mule Kick with Mauer, the new Death Perception around a month later, and finally they released a new version of PhD Slider in Forsaken. And that is the history of COD Zombies perks. Hope you enjoyed it. On Mob of the Dead, you can collect the drops through the locked cells with the Hell's Retriever, but for some reason they patched it on Blood of the Dead. Before Zetsubo no Shima came out, then Zombies director Jason Blundell did an interview with Mr. Waffle Waffles, and in this interview he legitimately blinked a message in Morse code. His message translates to, quote, "Do not put the 115, contact doctor, I don't wanna, trust me Sam, I am the doctor." I know this sounds absolutely insane to the average person, but weird things like this is what made the Zombies community so much fun to be in for the longest time, and if I'm gonna be honest, I miss these days. I do. In Moon, Optimus Richtofen says this.
Oh, Dempsey, I think I can see your house from here. It's on fire!
And on Classified, when traveling to Groom Lake for the first time, Richtofen will reference that quote.
Oh, I can't even see Dempsey's house.
In Revelations, when going from Mob of the Dead to Origins, there's a small section of the map that reminds a lot of people of Buried, but there's still a lot of people that want to say that this isn't Buried. Well, if we no-clip inside of this zombie spawn, we can find a sign that says Living Stone Mine. If you know Buried, then you should know that this is the same sign that's in the spawn room of Buried. So yes, this is Buried. Sometimes when using the fishing net on Blood of the Dead, it can have a drop in it. And finally, in Garad Kirby's outro cutscene, when it first launched, there was a pretty funny glitch that would happen. Before Optimus Nikolai shoots Primus, when he would raise his MR6 at him, for a few frames it would change to the KN-44 for some reason. This was later fixed, but it's still pretty funny. Doris is the first Zombies map where you had to interact with 3 different items around the map to activate the Easter egg song. On Black Ops 2, if you throw a Semtex at the teddy bear and then hit the mystery box, the teddy bear will stay there. The VR-11 can calm down George. Bots can do Easter egg steps in Black Ops 4. Zetsubo no Shima is the only Easter egg that requires you to use a specific consumable to beat it. In Classified, if you try to use the elevator while standing in the doorway, it'll say that the elevator is blocked. On Water War Doris, if you shoot yourself with the Wunderwaffe, you will actually take away your Juggernog, and you will go back to a 2-hit down. On Blood of the Dead, the hands that poke out of the catwalk can bypass Victorious Tortoise. Speed Cola helps you repair barriers faster. In Origins, you can enter Thor from below where you grab the first lightning part. Why is this useless, you ask? Well, because this happens almost every single time that you do it. There is a total of 10 jump pads in the biodome on Moon. In Shadows of Evil, if you shoot this picture and interact with where it was, you can play the game in Noir mode. Now, unfortunately, this Noir mode effect will be on for the rest of your game, but with saying that, there are a couple ways to, temporarily at least, turn off Noir mode. One is by going into Beast mode, and the second is by standing inside an Apothicon Servant shot. In most Ether maps, the time on the clocks in the map are always set to either 115 or 935. Of course, being little Easter eggs for element 115 and group 935. You can use Electric Cherry or an explosive weapon to launch a rhino's body. In the BO1 main menu, if you click Zombies and then look at the TVs to the right of you, you can see a picture of 5. More specifically though, you can see a picture of Quick Revive on 5. If you know anything about 5, then you know that that's not where Quick Revive is, that's where Speed Cola is in the final version of the map. In Blood of the Dead, when you die, you can hear the Warden laughing and the game over music. If you beat the Easter egg though, the Warden's laugh will not be in the game over music. In BO4 Zombies, when you activate Zombie Shell on a horde of zombies, it'll take off the zombie's limbs for some reason. In World at War loading screens, Treyarch refers to the mystery box as a treasure chest. It's kind of weird when you look back at it. Buried is really glitchy on PC. For example, if you turn your FOV above 100, then the map will sometimes straight up disappear. And if your FPS is too high, then you can't fly with the paralyzer. In Shangri-La, the monkeys throw grenades back at you. In Der Eisendrache, there is a raven next to Mule Kick that you can shoot and kill. We all thought that this had something to do with an Easter egg, but as of July 31st, we still have yet to find anything pertaining to this raven. But hey, at least we have a new pig, am I right? In Garage Kroby, there are music sheets that you can find around the map for the Easter egg song Revelations from, well, Revelations. There's actually two different versions of this song. There's the version that we found before Revelations even came out. And then there's the version that's in the actual map. On Origins, this drop is called, but on Black Ops 4, the exact same drop is called bonus points. In the trailer for Burger Town, or Infection, the Magnetron is called the MWG. In Shadows of Evil, you can throw a Widow's Wine Grenade at a meatball, and it will fly somewhere in the map. It's pretty funny, actually. During the COD XP event in 2016, Jason Blundell poked fun at Infinite Warfare Zombies for having a tutorial mode, even going as far as to say this: what makes this really funny is in the very next Treyarch game, there was indeed a tutorial mode. Better yet, there were two. In the Die Maschine Easter egg, you have to input a password into the computer. That password is AHV, and what that password stands for is Angelica Hannibal Vogel. If this still don't ring a bell, which it probably don't, this is Valentina's real name. She in fact was the daughter of Dr. Vogel. In Blood of the Dead, if you wanted to, you could get the Wraithfires back for the Easter egg. When you get off the bird step, you can do the first half of the Hell's Redeemer quest to get rid of the tomahawk. In Zetsubo no Shima, you can play Samantha's Lullaby by filling up these pods with certain amounts of water. In a previous video, I said this: the trees on Dead of the Night look laughably bad. Or at least, so we think. Because here's the weird thing about these trees. When you aim at said trees, they'll begin to glow and they'll stay glowing until you stop aiming at them. Now if you ask me, this almost has to be an Easter egg of some kind. But as far as I can tell, we found no Easter eggs involving these trees. So if you know why these trees do this, please leave a comment down below because I really want to know why this happens. This is in fact just a glitch, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because you all told me in the comments, when you look at these trees in split screen, you can actually see the other person's screen. The Mozu used to cost 1,250 points on release, but now it costs 1,300 points. Speaking of the Mozu on launch, the operator mod on it, the Skull Splitter, used to be insanely busted. You could easily kill any Easter egg boss with the Mozu in like one clip, but unfortunately Treyarch patched this, and now the Mozu is worthless. In Ascension, you can interact with the red phones around the map, and you can hear the 5 crew on the other side. There are a lot of cool Easter eggs in Nuketown Zombies. Just to name a few for you real quick. On round 5, you can hear the bus's horn from Transit. If you melee the bunker door, you can hear Marlton from Victus speaking.
what an interminable wait.
And on round 25, the zombies' eyes will turn blue. This is because Nuketown actually takes place at the same exact time as Moon. To confirm this, on top of the blue eyes, you can hear dialogue from Moon in between rounds.
Login, Teddy. Password is a liar. I'm not, but that's why no one would guess it.
And on BO3 Moon, if you go to Area 51 after you complete the Easter egg, you can see a mushroom cloud. You guessed it, this is the same mushroom cloud as the one on Nuketown Zombies. There's one more cool Easter egg on Nuketown that I just learned about while getting this footage. On Alpha Omega, as you probably know, the houses are labeled A through F, and we know this because of the mailboxes in front of each house. Well, on Nuketown Zombies, these mailboxes are a lot cooler. The two mailboxes in front of the houses read Mason and Woods. I guess referring to Black Ops 1's campaign? Now, I don't know the reasoning behind it, so if you know why, please let me know down below in the comments. Actually, I lied. There is one more cool Easter egg on Nuketown. Well, it's not really an Easter egg, but in the game over screen, you can see that the bunker door is open. Jimmy Zielinski really did like trolling the community, didn't he? When Treyarch first uploaded the Origins intro all the way back in 2013, they made a pretty funny typo. In this trailer, they introduced us to Primus. They showed us Tank Dempsey, they showed us Takeo Masaki, and they showed us Dr. Edward Richtofen. But they showed us a fourth person who isn't in Primus. They showed us Nikolai Belinksi. Belinksi? Belinksi? I don't know. Either way, it's spelt wrong and they swiftly took down the video and re-uploaded it with the Nikolai that we know and love today. In 5, there is a blacked out portrait of someone who we didn't know who it was for a long time. Well, by doing a short side quest on Classified, you can make Ultimus Richtofen the blacked out portrait, and then the other portrait will be Primus Nikolai. This was actually foreshadowing of the ending of Classified, where instead of following Ultimus Richtofen, the Ultimus crew follows their new leader, Primus Nikolai. In Firebase Z, there is an Easter egg to get free jump pads. Why is this useless, you ask? Because you need to play Dance Dance Revolution 6 times on each jump pad just to save 500 points. Doing so takes like 2 or 3 minutes to do, and if you mess up at any point doing this Easter egg, then you have to redo the entire Easter egg. And people wonder why I don't like this map. In the Garage Krovi trailer, Nikolai says this.
This should do job of killing.
He says that when he's grabbing coagulant. Let's just read the description of coagulant real quick. Longer bleed out time. How does this do job? Job of killing, Nikolai. In Buried, if you throw a time bomb in Leroy's cage and then shoot Leroy to lock him in the cage, you can actually teleport with the time bomb into Leroy's locked cage. This is your new home until there's another crew to come set the both of you free. In Blood of the Dead, you can shoot down the water tower. Whether you love or hate this map, you can't deny that things like this in Zombies are extremely cool. The M1911 wasn't in Zombies Chronicles for around a month after it launched. All the maps that should have had the 1911 instead had the MR6 as your starting weapon. Now, as per normal with COD Zombies fans, everyone acted like it was the end of the world, but in an interview, Jason Blundell explained why it wasn't in the game yet.
Simple story is, just wasn't ready in time. Just wasn't ready in time. Every time we add something in, we have to test everything. And you have a period of submission that you've got to kind of get in, you've got to QA before that point. Yes, we knew we were making it. Yes, we wanted to get the zombie community for it, but it just wasn't ready in time. And you'd have to then basically offset all your release schedules, and it wasn't that significant a thing that would delay everything to get it.
Additionally, there's more wall buys that were changed after release. In Shinonuma, the HVK used to be on the wall in the fishing hut, but it got replaced after release with the MP40 wall buy. And one more that I know of, in the Speed Cola room for Kino, the wall weapon here used to be the Kuda, but it also got replaced with the MP40. In Exo Zombies Outbreak, there is a second Easter egg ending to the map. On the final step, if you melee 50 zombies to collect the key cards instead of just killing them with your guns, you can actually successfully exfil and win. And people think Cold War was the first to do exfils. In BO4, if you pull out your specialist, put it away, and then pull it right back out, you can run around the map with your specialist and it'll never go away. Why is this useless, you ask? Well, because you can't kill any zombies with it. It's just an aesthetic thing. I just find it cool to run around Dead of the Night or 9 with the hammer. Speaking of Dead of the Night, when you shoot the flames for the fire core trap with the max wonder weapon, they turn blue. This is, of course, for the main Easter egg. But when you shoot the flames with the single upgraded wonder weapon, the Chaos Theory, the flames will turn green. Now, I don't know much about game design, and I might be wrong about this, but as far as I know, this isn't as simple as recoloring an old asset. Instead, this is an entirely new one, so it almost has to be in the game for some reason, besides just giving you no trap damage. I will now go over every single map in Zombies history and give you the translations for them, unless they're in English, obviously. Nacht der Toten translates from German into Night of the Undead. Verrückt translates to crazy or insane or asylum, which makes a lot of sense because, well, you know. Shinonuma translates from Japanese to Swamp of Death. Der East translates to the Giant. Kino der Toten translates to cinema or theater of the dead. And that's the last one until BO3, surprisingly. Der Eisendrache translates to the Iron Dragon. Zetsubo no Shima translates to the Island of Despair. Garad Krovi translates to City of Blood, which is such a cool name. For the finale of the Ether storyline, Tag der Toten, it's actually the polar opposite of Nacht. It translates to Day of the Dead. It comes full circle. Die Maschine translates to The Machine, and Mauer der Toten translates to Wall of the Dead. I can't believe I'm including this, but I might as well give you the translations for Vanguard. So Der Anfang translates to The Beginning, and finally, Terra Maledicta translates from Latin, The Cursed Earth. That's not a bad name, actually. It's a shame the game sucks. In Zetsubo no Shima and Origins on Black Ops 3, you can do some weird lunge animation with the shield. Now if you ask me, this really reminds me of the rocket shield, with how you can just lunge like 5 or 10 feet without moving. In Ancient Evil, you can't jump while aiming down sight with the shield. If you go to the docks, you can see that there is fireworks going off in both Mob of the Dead and Blood of the Dead. This is because Mob of the Dead takes place on New Year's Eve, and Blood of the Dead takes place on July 4th. In a previous video, I said this. Do you know what this weapon is on Revelations? If you said the Vesper, you would be wrong. This is in fact the HVK-30. For some weird reason, the HVK wall buy on this map has the Vesper's chalk outline. Well, this in fact isn't the only map on Black Ops 3 to have a messed up chalk outline. In Shadows of Evil, The Giant, Der Eisendrache, and Zetsubo no Shima, the HVK's chalk outline is the Shiva. On Garad Krovi and Revelations, the HVK's chalk outline is the Vesper. The weird thing about this though, is on every single Chronicles map that the HVK is on, the wall buy is actually correct. It shows you the HVK wall buy for the HVK. But Treyarch just could not leave well enough alone, so they instead passed on the Shiva curse to the ICR. The ICR has the Shiva's chalk outline on every single Chronicles map. In Garad Krovi, you can use any weapon here to get back into the boss fight arena after you beat the Easter egg. Speaking of the Easter egg, for the longest time, Garad Krovi's Easter egg was literally impossible to beat. This is because the game would always crash without fail during the cutscene. It took Treyarch almost 4 years to fix this, which is just absolutely insane. In Black Ops 1 Moon, you can see the Earth from, well, Earth. In Shadows of Evil, there's a teddy bear outside this window in the Footlight District. On the New Industry step in Blood of the Dead, when you finish sucking the ghost, you can hear his footsteps, which he shouldn't have because, of course, he's a ghost. Additionally, you can shoot the ghosts that move the Pack-a-Punch machine, and this red substance will come out of their body. And finally, you can jump through the lab windows on 5. In Shadows of Evil, the Pack-a-Punch Bloodhound doesn't cock back when you shoot it. On Mob of the Dead, if you cook a grenade on the plane, you will take no damage from it. In Ancient Evil, the box will always move to the underworld when you first travel there. Trip mines are in the box in Der Eisendrache and Revelations. I guess they didn't learn their lesson the first time. Danger Closest allows you to take no damage from the Panzer's shock charge on Der Eisendrache. In Tag der Toten, if you use any weapon here, as soon as you start the boss fight, you will be launched from wherever you teleport to back of the boat. Or I guess it'd be the front of the boat, technically. Exo Zombies is the first Zombies mode to have a 3-hit down. In the Zombies Chronicles remaster of Verrückt, you can see a light shining through the windows in the spawn room. It's only when you're looking through the windows here, as if you shoot out a window, the light will go away. Not only that, but in certain windows, you can see the light shining through the building, which is pretty weird. Speaking of Verrückt, on the Juggernaut side of the spawn room, if you interact with the dentist chair here, you will get some pretty creepy noises. On BO3 Origins, if you pair the NG08 with firing on all cylinders and stamina, you can traverse the map extremely fast. This is what the BO3 Boomhilda should have been. You know, I still don't understand why they nerfed it in Chronicles. In Zetsubo no Shima, if you melee the skull stand, it'll play the same sound it plays when you knife a zombie. At the end of Moon's Easter egg, the Gersh device that you throw by the Samantha Says monitors will never go away. In Alpha Omega, when a jolting jack climbs to another level, they will actually stand for a second before going back to a crawler. If you grab another gobblegum while you have armamental accomplishment, you will chew the gobblegum faster. In the Water War version of Nocturne and Toten, the game says that the Thompson costs 1500 points, but it actually only costs 1200 points. In Black Ops 3 Origins, you can find a zombie outside of the map with a bottle of Merlot from 1997. Now, this wouldn't be a big deal, except Origins takes place in 1918, almost a full 80 years earlier, which means either this man is a time traveler, or this is just an oversight from Treyarch. Probably the latter. In the Zombies in Spaceland intro, AJ is wearing a Letterman jacket. This jacket says IW on it, of course being an Easter egg for Infinity Ward. In Mauer der Toten's Easter egg, there's a step where Klaus stops a train and you need to get on the train and grab a few items. During this step, Klaus stresses that he cannot hold the train for long, so you probably get off it quickly every time. But have you ever wondered what happens if you don't get off the train? Well, if you don't get off the train, then Klaus will stop holding it and you will go into the Dark Ether and be teleported back to the train tracks. Well, that's really anticlimactic. When Garage Krovi launched on Xbox, there was a pretty funny glitch that would happen. Randomly when playing, you could have this happen in your game. I remember everyone thinking this was an Easter egg, but it turns out it was just a visual glitch. A visual glitch that shows you the portal that Primus used to get to Garage. And while I'm talking about the Garage intro, you can see Peter McCain falling as well. This is really useless unless you're Milo or something.
What? What? No! What?
BO3 Zombies was the first game you could see your feet. In Zetsubo no Shima, the seeds you place down the water have an obnoxiously big hitbox. Like seriously, why is it so big? Kino der Toten and 5 have the same game over song. On Valentine's Day in 2016, please take me back, Treyarch made a secret update to Zombies that I didn't even remember happening until researching this video. Treyarch added black hearts that would float out of the zombies when you killed them. To get this, you had to go in Nightmares mode and kill a zombie, and then you'd have this effect in any Zombies map. Like I said, not even I remembered this, so if you knew about this, leave a comment down below. In Shadows of Evil, if you pull out the non-upgraded sword and hold down the slash button and spam the slam button, you can glitch out the sword and do this. Now this does kill zombies, it's not a visual glitch or anything like that, but if I'm gonna be honest, this is really hurting my eyes, so let's move on to the next one. When Black Ops 4 Zombies launched, there was a really loud sound that would play every single time you got a headshot. Now thankfully, Treyarch replaced this sound with a much better one that doesn't destroy your eardrums. Literally every Zombies player in existence knows this. If you don't, leave. I'm just joking, please don't. But it's still useless information nonetheless. In Mob of the Dead, if you throw your house retriever behind you while you're flying to the bridge, it won't return to you until you land, and it'll just keep flying behind you. Around the map in Alpha Omega, you can find members of Broken Arrow bickering with sticky notes. These conversations are pretty funny, and if you ever have time to kill, I recommend reading these in theater mode because a few of them will get a good laugh out of you. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because Treyarch paid attention to a very small detail here. You might be wondering why they're using tape to hold up their sticky notes. Well, they're using tape because the invention of an adhesive strip on the back of a note wasn't invented until 1974. And the Broken Arrow outbreak happened in 1968. So naturally, they used tape to hold their notes because sticky notes weren't a thing yet. Not only did Treyarch pay attention to this detail, but they also made a joke about it. In a cabinet near the lounge, you can see someone suggesting adding an adhesive strip to the back of a note, and someone replied saying, "That's a stupid idea." Poor guy had $1 million idea and he just got clowned on for it. What a shame. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter either way because Yeah. In Horizon Track, you can teleport back in time for the Easter egg from the rocket test and it'll work. The Panzer will be ready for you on the other side though, so watch out for that. Additionally, you can input the save code using the machine at the rocket test and it'll actually work. In BO3 Zombies, there's actually some instances where the crew refers to what they said in older maps. For example, Dempsey says this on the Giant when he's eating a gobble gum.
My mom always told me not to talk while chewing. She'd slap me in the mouth right now.
And then he says this on Revelations.
My mom always told me not to talk while chewing. She'd forgive me this time.
And one more that I know of. Richtofen says this when he gets a bad weapon from the box on Garad Krovi.
Oh, you can just fuck off, Box.
And on Revelations, he feels remorse.
Oh, you can just fudge off, Box. I'm sorry I swore at you before. I didn't mean it.
In Christmas of 2020, Cold War Zombies released a Christmas mode called Jingle Hells. All this mode was a Christmas reskin of D Machine, where the Plague Hounds were reindeer and the Megaton was Santa. I hope COD 2024 does do more holiday-themed events like this, because it is pretty cool, even if it's as simple as adding a hat to a boss enemy. In Shadows of Evil, if the tram is at Canals, you can have your friend call it from Waterfront or Footlight, and if you watch the tram as it's leaving, it'll glitch out a little bit. Speaking of the tram, you can go in beast mode at Footlight and climb on top of the tram. Now, unfortunately, you can't ride the tram for long because when it leaves the playable area, you'll hit an invisible barrier and be kicked off of it, but it is pretty cool nonetheless. In Horizon Track, you can sometimes get a zombie to spawn with your drop in the tram. The death machine was really bad in BO3 when it first came out. When it released with Horizon Track, it originally pulled out much slower than it does now. Like, I seriously think that if this was still in the game, then the death machine would be just about as bad as the BO1 version. But thankfully, they sped up the animation much faster, and now it's almost instantaneous. Speaking of the death machine, when it released, it also had an ammo counter. Now, despite what you may be thinking, the death machine still had infinite ammo. Even when the ammo counter hit 0, you could still use it. I have no clue why the ammo counter was even added to begin with, unless the death machine was ported from Black Ops 2, and that's why it has an ammo counter. I don't know. In Cold War Zombies, as many people know, there is a bunny Easter egg on every single Cold War Zombies map to get a free loot crate. Well, on Mauer's bunny Easter egg, there is a cool Easter egg for us 5 Voyage fans out there. After you beat all 3 phases and you grab your loot crate, you can hear the instrumental for Right Where We Belong playing. This is the song that plays at the very beginning of Voyage's intro cutscene. Many people know about Michael Rooker shooting 5 shots out of a double-barreled shotgun in the Call of the Dead intro. But there is actually another instance of this happening. In the trailer for Shangri-La, you can see Dempsey shooting 3 shots out of the Olympia. It's very quick and it's very easy to miss, and to be honest, I wouldn't even know about this if it wasn't for Lucario Project pointing this out in one of his videos. Every perk in D Machine has 2 perk jingles. It of course has the normal one, and then there's the version that plays in the Dark Ether. Speaking of the Dark Ether, if you kill a zombie while in the Dark Ether, you will see the zombies fly in the air. This is because the Dark Ether has the same effects as Newtonian negation does from Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. And finally, as you probably know, if you knife Ted enough on transit, he can actually kick you off the bus and say this:
"Your privileges have been fucking revoked."
Treyarch knew that everyone loved Ted and his quotes, so when they added him back in Alpha Omega, they made sure to add a cool callback to his line from Transit.
Looks like someone needs to loosen up. Relax, have a drink, back the fuck up or suffer the consequences. Hey, asshole, I'm telling you to stop or I'm cutting you off. Looks like somebody's about to reconsider their life choices. Be advised, damaging Consolidated Coach Corporation property is punishable by death in 12 of the 53 states. Keep testing me, asshole. Just watch what happens. Lounge privileges have been fucking revoked.